The arena was enormous. Its walls glowed faintly, showing faint patterns of battles long past. The floor was made of polished metal that reflected the morning light from above. Ryan stood in the center, alone, feeling the weight of thousands of eyes on him. Aliens of all shapes and sizes filled the stands. Some were tall, like towers, others small but quick and sharp. All watched silently, waiting to see if humans were as weak as rumors said. Ryan's heart beat fast. He had trained for situations like this. But nothing could prepare him for facing an entire galaxy watching his every move. Above the arena, in the observation deck, Commander Zero stood with arms crossed. She studied him closely. Her golden eyes were sharp and calm. Ryan could not tell if she expected him to fail or if she already believed in him. The silence was almost a physical pressure, pressing down on every human nerve. Then a loud chime echoed through the arena. The trial had begun. From one end of the arena, a figure appeared. It was a tall, reptilian warrior from the Trazak species. Covered in dark green scales and sharp spikes, it was easily twice Ryan's size. Its eyes glowed red, and its claws scraped the metal floor as it approached. The alien let out a low roar that shook the air, announcing its power. The human team members whispered from the stands. "There is no way Ryan can fight that," one said quietly. "It will tear him apart in seconds." Ryan ignored the comments. He had learned that fear was the first thing a warrior must control. He focused on the Trazak and scanned the arena for anything he could use. There were walls, a few pillars, and a shallow trench near the center. Every detail mattered. The Trazak lunged first, its claws swinging at Ryan's head. He ducked and rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding the strike. The force of the blow left a dent in the metal floor where he had stood. Ryan could feel the vibrations through his boots. The crowd gasped at the display of raw power. Ryan knew he could not rely on strength alone. The Trazak had size, spikes, and sharp claws. He had quickness, intelligence, and endurance. He had to outsmart, not overpower his opponent. He led the Trazak toward the shallow trench. At the last moment, he jumped to the side, letting the Trazak fall in. The creature roared in frustration and scrambled out, shaking off the dirt and debris. Ryan used every moment to study it. He noticed that the Trazak's movements were strong but predictable. He began using quick, small strikes, aiming for weak points instead of trying to match the creature in brute force. Every move was calculated. He dodged, rolled, and even used a pillar to block a swing. Every alien watching began to murmur in surprise. They had not expected a human to move so fast, if you think so clearly under pressure. After several minutes, Ryan spotted an opening. The Trazak lunged at him again, overextending its strike. Ryan grabbed the creature's arm and twisted it, using the force of the attack against it. The Trazak stumbled, then fell forward onto its knees. Ryan had not struck it down. Instead, he held it steady, keeping it from harming itself. The crowd was silent again. No one had ever seen a fighter win a trial without dealing lethal damage. Ryan looked up at Zira. She was watching closely, her expression unreadable. Then she leaned forward slightly, golden eyes shining with interest. Ryan realized something important. This trial was not just about fighting. It was about proving the human way: courage, intelligence, and mercy. He had survived the first round, not by strength, but by staying calm and using his mind. The Trazak shook its head and looked at him. Its red eyes softened slightly, and it made a low growl that sounded almost like respect. Ryan reached out his hand. The Trazak hesitated, then touched it lightly with its claw. The crowd gasped again. "Humans are strange," whispered one alien in the stands. "They do not fight to kill." The next phase of the trial began. The floor of the arena shifted, revealing a narrow canyon filled with moving platforms. Above, mechanical drones hovered, scanning the combatants. Ryan had to cross the canyon while avoiding falling or being struck. The Trazak leaped across first. Ryan watched carefully, timing its movements. Using the lessons he had learned in training, he began to jump from platform to platform. Each step had to be precise. A misstep could send him plummeting to the bottom of the canyon. One of the drones detected movement and fired a harmless but shocking energy bolt. Ryan ducked just in time. Sparks flew around him, illuminating the determination in his eyes. He continued, carefully calculating each jump, each step. Halfway across, he heard a shout from one of the alien spectators. "He is clever. The human uses strategy." Ryan smiled slightly. That small recognition fueled him. He knew the trial of valor was not just a test for him, but a demonstration for everyone watching. Humans had to show they could think under pressure, adapt to any challenge, maintain courage even when facing stronger opponents. Finally, he reached the end of the canyon. The Trazak was waiting. It roared, ready for another fight, but Ryan noticed it had become slower, less aggressive. The creature had learned to respect his tactics. Ryan had one final challenge. A wall of glowing energy appeared, a barrier that would only allow passage if the human showed true courage. Without hesitation, he ran toward it. The energy crackled around him. He did not falter. He pushed forward with confidence and determination. Stepping into the unknown, the barrier reacted to his courage, fading to allow him through. The crowd erupted into cheers and whispers. Aliens who had doubted humanity now looked with awe. The human had not only survived, but had demonstrated qualities that no other species had yet shown in this trial: intelligence, courage, and mercy. Ryan stood at the center of the arena again, breathing heavily, but smiling. He had completed the first phase of the trial. Zira's golden eyes met his. There was a faint smile on her face. For the first time, she looked almost human in expression, not the cold, distant commander everyone feared. "You have done well," she said in a clear, loud voice. "But the trial is not yet over. True valor is tested not only by survival, but by honor and leadership. Tomorrow, you will face the next challenge, where your decisions will affect not only yourself, but others as well." Ryan nodded, understanding the weight of her words. This was bigger than any fight he had ever imagined. The trial of valor was not just a test of strength. It was a test of what it meant to be human. As the crowd slowly dispersed, Ryan returned to the human quarters. His team rushed to meet him. "That was incredible," one said. "You survived the Trazak, and you didn't even hurt it seriously." Ryan shrugged. "This is not about hurting anyone. It is about proving who we are. Every species here will judge humans based on what I do." Another human team member frowned. "But Ryan, what if the next trial is even harder? You can't fight them all with clever tricks." Ryan smiled calmly. "Then we will adapt. That is what humans do. We face challenges and learn from them. That is our strength." That night, Ryan prepared for the next phase of the trial. He reviewed everything he had seen in the arena, studying the tactics of the Trazak, the drones, and the obstacles. He knew tomorrow would be different, more complex. The stakes would be higher. Outside the quarters, the city of Arendra Prime sparkled. Ships moved in patterns across the sky, showing the flow of trade and life. Ryan looked out at the stars and whispered, "Humanity is ready to show the galaxy who we are." Sleep came slowly, but it brought dreams of the trial. He imagined the next challenge, filled with puzzles, allies, and decisions that would test not only his skill, but his heart. The trial of valor was far from over, but Ryan felt a sense of calm. He was no longer just a human among aliens. He was a representative of his entire species, carrying their courage, hope, and wisdom in every action. When dawn arrived, Ryan was ready. He stood at the entrance of the arena, looking at the glowing paths that awaited him. He felt Zira's eyes on him again, sharp and thoughtful. The silence of the crowd fell around him like a wave. Ryan smiled to himself. "Let's begin," he whispered. And with that, the next phase of the trial was about to start. A challenge that would change not only how the galaxy viewed humans, but how they saw themselves. The Galactic Council Hall was a vast circle made of white metal and clear glass. It floated above the surface of Arendra Prime, a shining city of towers and light. Every week, hundreds of alien species met there to discuss peace, trade, and sometimes war. Among the thousands of alien voices, a small group of humans sat near the center. They were new to the galaxy's stage, one of the youngest races to join the council. Most of the older species thought humans were weak and emotional, a species too reckless to survive long among the stars. The youngest human representative was named Ryan Hale. He sat quietly at the table, his hands folded, watching everything around him. The others in his team were busy checking data screens or whispering among themselves. Ryan, however, preferred to observe. He had learned that in a room full of aliens, silence could be more powerful than words. Across the hall, a tall insectoid creature spoke loudly about mining rights near the Valari border. Another alien with glowing skin argued that the humans should not be allowed near that region. The words grew sharp, and the voices clashed. Ryan tried to keep calm, but he felt the tension building. He had read about the Valari before. They were one of the oldest and strongest civilizations, known for their military and discipline. No one dared to cross their borders without permission. Suddenly, a sound filled the hall that no one expected. A deep mechanical tone echoed through the air, and the great doors of the council opened. Every head turned. The guards at the entrance stepped aside and saluted. A figure entered, tall and striking. She wore silver armor that reflected the lights of the hall. Her steps were silent, yet every being could feel her presence. She moved with the confidence of someone who feared nothing. The room fell completely silent. Even the translator stopped humming. Ryan did not know who she was at first, but he could tell by the way others reacted that she was someone important. Every alien lowered their heads slightly as she passed. Her armor bore the black crest of the Valari Dominion, a name that carried both fear and respect across the galaxy. Her face was pale blue, her eyes a glowing gold. The design of her armor was both elegant and powerful, built to command and protect. The air around her almost seemed to grow heavier. The leader of the council, a massive being made of stone and crystal, rose to speak. "Commander Zira of the Valari Dominion, the council welcomes you." Commander Zira's eyes moved across the room. She said nothing. Her gaze was sharp, cold, and calm. Then she began to walk toward the center, her steps echoing softly on the metal floor. Ryan's heart began to race. He had read her name before in reports. Zira was a legend. She led fleets that defeated entire invasions. Her word was law among her people. If she was here, something serious was about to happen. She stopped in front of the council table. Her golden eyes scanned the faces of every representative. When they landed on the human group, she paused. Her voice broke the silence like a blade cutting through air. "You human." She was pointing directly at him. "Step forward." Every alien turned to look at him. The human team leader whispered, "Stay seated, Ryan. This might be political." But Ryan knew there was no avoiding it. He stood up slowly. His heart pounded, but he met her gaze. He walked to the center of the hall, stopping a few steps away from her. The air between them felt alive with tension. Zira's expression did not change. She studied him as if weighing his worth. "So this is what humanity sends to the council," she said, her tone steady. "A young one. Soft hands. No battle scars." Ryan stayed silent. He did not want to give her the satisfaction of seeing fear. Zira turned slightly toward the council leader. "The Dominion questions the strength of this new species. They speak of peace, yet they have no proof of honor or courage. The Valari have fought for centuries to maintain order. We will not respect words without action," the council murmured. Some nodded in agreement. Others looked nervous. Ryan felt heat rising in his chest. He took a breath and spoke clearly. "With respect, Commander, humans believe strength can take many forms. Not all battles are fought with weapons." Few aliens made surprised sounds. No one usually spoke back to a Valari commander. Zira's eyes narrowed slightly. "Interesting words. But words are wind. The galaxy does not bend to speeches." She reached into a pouch on her armor and took out a small metallic cube. She placed it on the floor, and it began to hum with energy. A hologram appeared above it, showing images of warriors and beasts fighting across alien landscapes. "This," said, is the trial of valor. It is the measure of spirit and honor. I challenge this human to face it. If he succeeds, the Dominion will recognize his people as more than talkers. The hall broke into a storm of voices. The human leader stood up in protest. Commander, this is against protocol. You cannot single out a delegate. Zira turned her golden eyes toward him. Then withdraw your claim of human courage. The room grew quiet again. Every alien watched to see what the human would do. Ryan looked at the hologram of the battlefield, then at his team. He could see fear in their faces. No human had ever taken part in such a test. The trial of valor was not a game. It was a challenge that tested more than physical strength. It tested the heart. Ryan looked back at Zira. Her gaze was steady and full of pride. I accept your challenge, he said. Gasps filled the hall. The human leader whispered harshly, Ryan, you cannot. You don't even know what the trial involves, Ryan replied quietly. If we walk away, every alien here will think humans are cowards. We came here to earn respect, not hide behind rules. Zira tilted her head slightly. A faint expression, maybe curiosity, crossed her face. Then it is decided. Tomorrow, at the dawn cycle, the human will face the trial. The council leader nodded slowly. So it shall be. Zira turned to leave. Her steps echoed again, calm and sure. The doors opened and she walked out without looking back. When she was gone, the hall erupted in conversation. The alien representatives began whispering among themselves. Some admired Ryan's courage. Others said he was a fool. The human team surrounded him. You could have refused, one of them said. You could have asked for more time. Ryan shook his head. If I did that, we would lose everything. We came here to prove we belong. Maybe this is the only way to do it. That night, Ryan could not sleep. He looked out from the window of the human quarters at the endless lights of the alien city below. Ships crossed the skies like stars in motion. He felt small, but he also felt alive. He remembered the look in Zira's eyes when she challenged him. It was not hate. It was something else. Maybe she wanted to see if humanity was real. If their stories about courage were true, he whispered to himself, tomorrow she will know. In the early morning, before the council gathered again, Ryan went to the arena where the trial would take place. The arena was vast, built of dark stone and silver metal. Machines hovered above, scanning the field. It looked ancient, like it had seen countless warriors fight before. He stood there alone for a while, breathing deeply, trying to calm his racing heart. He was afraid, but he did not want to run. Humanity had been through worse. His ancestors had faced oceans, storms, and endless wars back on Earth. Compared to that, one trial among aliens did not seem impossible. As the sun of Arendra Prime rose, casting gold light across the arena, the council members began to arrive. Thousands of eyes watched from the stands. The air was thick with excitement and doubt. When Zira entered again, the crowd grew silent just as before. She looked down at Ryan from the observation deck. Human, she said, today you will show us if your kind has a heart of steel or a heart of dust. Ryan nodded once. I will show you what it means to be human. The trial had not yet begun, but everyone knew this was more than a test. It was the moment that would decide how the galaxy saw his species. Ryan tightened his gloves, squared his shoulders, and stepped into the center of the arena. Above him, Zira's golden eyes followed his every move. For the first time, a faint smile touched her lips. The trial gate opened with a loud metallic sound, and the crowd leaned forward. The human was ready. The next morning, the arena was alive with tension. Hundreds of alien representatives crowded the stands, murmuring quietly among themselves. Every eye was fixed on Ryan as he stood in the center. The previous day's performance had surprised many, and curiosity now turned to anticipation. Aliens who had mocked humans were now watching with cautious respect. Commander Zira appeared again on the observation deck. Her golden eyes glowed, watching every movement. Her presence commanded silence. Even the guards in attendance paused in their duties to witness the next phase. She did not speak yet. Her sharp gaze alone set the tone of the trial. Ryan examined the arena. It had transformed overnight. The polished floor had given way to uneven terrain filled with deep trenches, scattered pillars, and rising platforms. Holographic barriers moved unpredictably across the field. Above, hovering drones emitted soft hums and scanned the arena. It was a complex battlefield designed to test not just strength, but intelligence, timing, and perception. At the far end, a new opponent emerged. This one was unlike the Trazek from the previous day. It was a massive quadruped creature with thick, armored skin, glowing red eyes, and long tusks that could pierce through metal. Its steps caused small tremors in the floor. The crowd gasped at its appearance. Ryan knew this would be a more difficult trial. He had to rely on agility, strategy, and observation. Strength alone would not win. He felt a quiet determination rise inside him. Every human instinct he had learned over the years was preparing him for this moment. The creature charged immediately. Its speed was surprising for its size. Ryan dodged just in time, rolling under a low pillar. Sparks flew where the tusks struck the floor. The audience leaned forward, their anticipation mounting. Ryan quickly noted the creature's attack pattern. It lunged aggressively, but always slightly to the left before striking. He used this knowledge to his advantage. On its next charge, he sidestepped and ran up a small slope, using the momentum to jump onto one of the raised platforms. The crowd murmured in surprise at the human's agility. Above, Zero tilted her head. She observed silently, analyzing his every move. She had seen countless warriors, but humans moved differently. Their actions were not just physical, but calculated. They combined quick thinking with courage in a way that surprised even the most experienced observers. The creature roared again and charged toward Ryan's platform. Ryan leaped, landing behind a pillar. The tusk struck where he had just stood, leaving deep gouges in the metal. He realized the creature was powerful, but predictable. It relied on brute force and repeated patterns. He would need to be smarter than it. Ryan noticed a weak point in the arena. There was a narrow bridge connecting to platforms above a deep trench. It was unstable and could not hold the weight of the large creature. He ran across it carefully, baiting the creature to follow. As it charged, the bridge collapsed under its weight. The creature fell into the trench, but immediately climbed out, shaking its massive head. The crowd gasped again. They had expected him to fail. Ryan had survived by using the environment, showing cleverness rather than strength. Next, Ryan faced a series of hovering drones. Each emitted energy pulses that could knock him off balance. They moved unpredictably, creating a pattern of obstacles that required precise timing to cross. Ryan focused, waiting for the right moment. He leaped, rolled, and dodged, moving with the rhythm of the drones. His movements were fluid, almost like a dance. The audience watched in silence, fascinated. When he finally passed the drones, he noticed the creature regaining its stance. It roared louder this time and charged again. Ryan knew he had one chance to finish the challenge. He led the creature toward a section of the arena filled with narrow ledges and high pillars. The creature lunged, but Ryan used its momentum to guide it over the edge of a high platform. It struggled to maintain balance, giving him the opportunity to slip behind it. Ryan did not strike. Instead, he held his ground and focused on controlling the battlefield. His strategy was clear: survive, demonstrate skill, and show intelligence over pure aggression. The creature hesitated, confused by the human's calm and precise movements. Above, Zira's eyes shone brightly. She recognized the human's approach immediately. Few warriors in the galaxy fought this way. Most relied on power and intimidation. Ryan had combined observation, speed, and courage to turn the trial into his advantage. The next challenge appeared in the center of the arena. A holographic projection showed multiple smaller creatures advancing toward him. They were fast, agile, and relentless. Ryan studied them carefully. He noticed their movement pattern. They attacked in pairs, always flanking the target. Ryan adjusted his position and waited. He dodged the first attack and led the creatures into one of the trenches. Using the environment, he created obstacles that slowed them down. He then used their momentum to push one into another, incapacitating them without causing serious harm. The crowd erupted into whispers of admiration. Humans had never been seen handling enemies this way. After the creatures were neutralized, Ryan turned back to the massive opponent. It had survived all his tactics, but it was now cautious. Ryan had gained the upper hand, not through strength, but by understanding the battlefield and predicting its actions. He approached slowly. The creature lowered its head as if acknowledging his skill. Ryan extended a hand toward it. The creature hesitated, then touched his hand lightly with its tusk. The audience gasped at the display of mutual respect. Even Zira allowed a small smile to form on her lips. Ryan knew the trial was not just about defeating opponents. It was about demonstrating human qualities, courage, intelligence, and the ability to lead without unnecessary violence. He moved toward the center of the arena, standing tall despite exhaustion. The trials had tested every part of his body and mind. Sweat dripped from his forehead, but his eyes remained focused. The audience watched in awe as a small human demonstrated strength in a way that no alien expected. Zira's voice finally broke the silence. "Human," she said loudly, "you have completed the first true test of the trial of valor. You have shown courage, intelligence, and respect for life. These qualities are rare in the galaxy. Few species could endure what you have endured and maintain honor." The crowd whispered. Aliens who had doubted humans now looked at them differently. The whispers grew into quiet cheers as they began to recognize the potential of humanity. Ryan's team rushed into the arena to meet him. "You did it," one said. "You survived everything. And you didn't even kill the creatures." Ryan nodded. That was never the goal. The goal was to prove humans are more than just physical strength. We survive because we think, adapt, and act with honor. Another team member asked, "Do you think Zira will respect us now?" Ryan smiled faintly. "She already does." Today, we have shown the galaxy what it means to be human. The trial was not over. Ryan knew there were more phases ahead, each more difficult than the last. But today, he had taken the first step in changing the perception of his species. He had proven that humans could face the greatest dangers without losing their mind or their heart. As the crowd dispersed and the arena quieted, he breathed deeply, feeling the weight of what he had accomplished. His body was tired, but his spirit was strong. He looked up toward the observation deck. Zira was still watching, her eyes sharp, but now filled with something he could not identify. Respect, perhaps. Curiosity, maybe? Whatever it was a start. That night, Ryan reviewed the events of the trial. Every movement, every decision, every obstacle had taught him something new. He understood that survival was not just about strength. It was about understanding, patience, and courage. When he finally lay down to sleep, he felt a quiet confidence. The trial had tested him in ways he had never imagined. He had faced creatures larger and stronger than himself, navigated a dangerous arena, and still maintained control of every action. He dreamed of the next phase. It would be a challenge of leadership and decision-making, testing not only his skill but his ability to guide and protect others. The trial of valor was far from over, but Ryan knew he was ready. The galaxy was watching. Every species, every leader, and every citizen of Arindra Prime would remember what a human had done. Not because he had strength, but because he had courage, intelligence, and honor, Ryan whispered to himself as he drifted into sleep. Tomorrow, we show them even more. The morning sun of Arindra Prime rose over the massive arena, painting the metal floors with gold light. The crowd gathered again, but today their whispers were different. There was respect in their tone, a quiet recognition that humans were not as weak as once believed. Every alien species seemed to be watching Ryan Hale, the human who had survived the first trials with courage and cleverness. Ryan stood in the center of the arena. His armor was simple, but it fit him well. Every muscle in his body was alert, ready for the next test. This phase of the trial of valor was different from the others. Today, it would test leadership and moral courage, not just agility or strength. Above him, Commander Zira observed silently from her platform. Her golden eyes followed each move Ryan made. She had seen many warriors in her lifetime, but humans were unusual. They relied on something other species often ignored: intelligence paired with honor and compassion. A deep hum echoed through the arena. The floor split open, revealing a new battlefield. This time it was divided into multiple zones, each with a small group of alien trainees trapped inside. Energy barriers surrounded them, threatening to trap them permanently if Ryan did not act wisely. A holographic voice filled the arena. "Human representative, this trial will test your ability to lead. You must guide these beings to safety. Each decision will affect their survival. Use strength, wit, and honor to succeed." Ryan looked around. The aliens inside the barriers were not hostile. They were confused and frightened. Some were injured, others struggling to understand what was happening. Ryan realized the importance of this trial. It was not about defeating an enemy, but about saving lives and earning trust. The first challenge appeared. A massive gate of energy blocked the path to safety. It would open only if Ryan and the alien trainees worked together to solve a complex puzzle. Symbols on the gate glowed and shifted, requiring careful timing and observation. Ryan studied the gate. He called out to the aliens, "Look at the patterns. We can solve this together. Watch the symbols, then move when they align." Some of the aliens hesitated. Many had never worked with humans before. They looked at each other nervously, unsure if they could trust him. Ryan stepped closer, his voice calm and steady. "Follow my lead," he said. "If we act together, we all get through." Slowly, the aliens began to imitate his movements. Ryan guided them, timing every step and coordinating their actions. The gate symbols shifted, glowed, and finally, the barrier opened. The first group of aliens moved to safety. Cheering quietly as they crossed the threshold, the audience in the stands murmured in admiration. Humans were not only clever fighters, but also leaders. Ryan's actions showed intelligence and compassion combined, something many species had rarely seen. The next stage appeared. This time, multiple threats advanced simultaneously. Drones, small but deadly, hovered above the floor, ready to strike. Alien trainees panicked, unsure of where to move. Ryan had to act quickly to organize them. "Stay together," he shouted. "Move in formation. Watch each other's backs." The aliens obeyed, forming lines and moving as Ryan directed. He ran alongside them, using his own agility to deflect attacks and guide the group safely across the arena. Energy pulses from the drones threatened to knock them off balance. But Ryan's presence steadied them. One alien tripped and fell. Without hesitation, Ryan reached down and helped them to their feet, keeping them calm while continuing to lead the others. The audience gasped again. In the galaxy, few warriors risked themselves to protect their opponents or allies in a trial. Humans, it seemed, were different. Above the arena, Zira's expression shifted. She leaned forward, her hands gripping the edge of the platform. She had seen countless warriors fight, but Ryan's combination of courage, intelligence, and compassion was rare. She realized that this human could inspire trust and loyalty, not just fear. As they reached the next checkpoint, Ryan noticed a difficult choice. Two groups of aliens were trapped on opposite sides of a collapsing platform. He could only save one group at a time, and hesitation would cost lives. His mind raced. Ryan weighed the options carefully. He chose to lead the group on the right first, moving quickly to guide them to safety. He then returned for the left group, timing his actions perfectly to avoid falling debris. Both groups were rescued without injury. The crowd erupted in applause, a mixture of surprise and admiration. Ryan's team in the stands cheered as well. "You're incredible," one whispered. "You didn't just survive, you led them." Ryan shook his head slightly. "This isn't about me. It's about showing what humans can do. We value life, and we protect it. That is our strength." The final stage appeared. A single alien, a young trainee, was trapped on a high platform surrounded by fire-like energy. The structure shook, threatening to collapse. Ryan ran toward it. The audience held their breath. He reached the platform just as a piece of debris fell. He jumped, grabbed the alien, and pulled them to safety. The crowd erupted again, this time louder than ever. Even the usually silent observers were cheering. Zero finally spoke. Her voice rang clearly through the arena. "Human, you have shown what few beings in the galaxy possess: courage, intelligence, and honor. You led others to safety, even at risk to yourself. This is a rare quality among warriors." Ryan stood tall, breathing heavily but proud. He looked at the alien trainees around him. They were shaking with adrenaline, grateful for his guidance. Many had never seen a human up close, let alone survive a trial of this magnitude. One of the trainees approached him. You saved us. Humans are stronger than we thought. Strength is not only in the body, it is in the mind and heart. That is how humans survive and succeed." The audience continued to cheer, and whispers spread among the council representatives. Humans were no longer the weak newcomers. Ryan had changed their perception with his actions. Zero remained silent for a moment, studying him closely. Then she spoke again, this time more softly, but her words carried weight. "Human, you have not only proven your courage and skill, but also your wisdom. The Dominion sees now that your kind is not to be underestimated." Ryan nodded, understanding the significance. Zero's words were more than recognition. They were respect. She had judged him and found humans worthy. After the trial, Ryan returned to the human quarters with his team. They celebrated quietly. "You've done something amazing," one teammate said. "You've changed how everyone sees humans." Ryan shook his head. "I didn't do it for recognition. I did it to show that humans have honor and courage. That is what matters. We can fight, survive, and lead without hurting unnecessarily." The team nodded. They understood. Today had been a turning point. Humans had not just survived, they had shown the galaxy that their way of thinking, their approach to courage and leadership was different and powerful. That night, Ryan looked out at the city of Arindra Prime. Ships glided across the sky in organized patterns. Lights shimmered across the towers. He thought about the trial, Zero, and the council. Humanity had made a mark, but there was still work to do. Ryan whispered to himself, "We've shown them what humans are. Tomorrow, we will go further." Sleep came slowly, filled with thoughts of leadership, courage, and the next challenges. Ryan dreamed not only of survival, but of inspiring respect across the galaxy. He realized that the trial had already done more than testament, had begun to change the way the galaxy saw all of humanity. When dawn arrived, Ryan was ready. He knew the final phase of the trial of valor would test him in ways that were more difficult than strength or intelligence. It would test his character, his compassion, his ability to uphold honor under pressure. He stepped into the arena one last time for this phase. The audience was silent, their anticipation almost tangible. Ryan's heart raced, but his mind was calm. He had faced fear, danger, and impossible challenges before, and he had succeeded. Zero appeared above him again. This time, her expression held a hint of admiration. She spoke once more, her voice strong and clear. "Human, you have proven much already. Now, the final test begins. Show the galaxy not only your strength, but your true heart." Ryan took a deep breath. He knew this moment would define humanity's place in the galaxy. He squared his shoulders, focused his mind, and prepared for whatever the trial would bring. He was ready. Humanity was ready. The sun had barely risen over Arindra Prime, casting a golden light across the arena. The crowd was larger than ever, filled with aliens of all kinds. News of Ryan Hale's performance in the previous phases had spread quickly. Aliens who had once doubted humanity were now curious. Some even whispered that humans might be more capable than anyone imagined. Ryan stood at the center of the arena. His armor bore scratches from the earlier trials, but his posture was steady and confident. He was no longer the hesitant human who had entered the council hall days before. He had faced enormous challenges. And now he was ready for the final phase, the test of honor. Above him, Commander Zero observed from the platform. Her golden eyes glimmered with intensity. She had seen many warriors, but none like Ryan. His courage, intelligence, and compassion had already set him apart. Today, she would see if his heart was as strong as his mind. The arena changed. The floor split into multiple sections, each floating above a deep chasm. Holographic energy barriers created paths that could open or close at any moment. In the distance, alien trainees were scattered, some injured, some panicked. Ryan understood immediately. He would need to lead, protect, and act with wisdom under extreme pressure. A voice boomed through the arena. Human representative, the final trial begins. Your choices will affect life, death, and honor. Show the galaxy the true spirit of your species. Ryan looked around. His team in the stands cheered quietly, but he did not smile yet. This was the most serious challenge of all. He took a deep breath and ran toward the first group of trapped aliens. The group consisted of a small, costoid species and a few reptilian trainees. Energy barriers blocked their path. The floor shifted beneath them, threatening to drop them into the abyss. Ryan quickly assessed the situation. "Stay calm," he shouted. "Follow me exactly. Watch my steps and move when I move. We will get through this together." Some of the aliens hesitated, fear written across their faces. Ryan did not wait for them to gain confidence on their own. He moved closer, extending his hands to guide them. Slowly, the aliens followed his lead. Each step was precise. Each jump across the floating platforms was carefully timed. The energy barriers shifted suddenly, and a section of the floor sank. Ryan reacted instantly, pulling one of the insectoid aliens to safety while helping another leap to a stable platform. The crowd gasped. The human was acting with both courage and precision, saving lives while navigating the dangerous arena. Above, Zira leaned forward slightly. She had seen many warriors lead their allies, but none had done so with such calm authority. Ryan's actions demonstrated intelligence, bravery, and the ability to inspire trust. As Ryan guided the aliens to safety, the next challenge appeared. Drones descended from above, emitting energy pulses designed to knock combatants off balance. Ryan had to think fast. He shouted instructions to the aliens, directing them to move as a group and avoid the drones' attacks. Using his speed and agility, he deflected some energy pulses with nearby debris, creating safe paths. One alien stumbled and nearly fell, but Ryan grabbed them midair, steadying their balance. The audience erupted in quiet cheers. Humans were not only clever and courageous, they were protectors. The most difficult moment came when Ryan noticed two groups of aliens trapped on separate floating platforms, each surrounded by rising energy fields. Only one platform could be reached first, and hesitation could cost lives. Ryan weighed the choices carefully. He ran toward the larger group first, moving quickly and efficiently to guide them to safety. Then he returned for the smaller group, timing his movements perfectly to avoid collapsing sections of the floor. Both groups were rescued without injury. The audience was amazed. Many whispered to each other, "No human has ever done this before." Others nodded, acknowledging the bravery and quick thinking that Ryan had shown. The final challenge was revealed. At the center of the arena, a young alien trainee was trapped on a high platform surrounded by energy surges. The platform shook violently. If Ryan hesitated, the trainee would fall. Without fear, Ryan sprinted toward the platform. He dodged falling debris and energy bolts. The crowd was silent, holding its collective breath. Ryan leaped, reaching the alien just in time. He grasped their hand and pulled them to safety. The arena erupted into applause. Aliens cheered, some standing on their seats, their eyes wide with admiration. Humans had proven themselves not just as fighters, but as leaders, protectors, and thinkers. Ryan stood tall in the center of the arena, breathing heavily but proud. He looked at the aliens around him. They were safe, grateful, and filled with newfound respect for humanity. Above, Commander Zira spoke, her voice ringing through the arena. "Human, you have demonstrated what few beings in the galaxy possess: courage, intelligence, honor, and compassion. You have led, protected, and inspired. Humanity is no longer to be underestimated. Ryan felt a wave of relief and pride. Zira's words were more than recognitions. They were validation for his entire species. Humans had long been seen as weak newcomers. But now the galaxy had a reason to respect them. He turned to the alien trainees who had survived the trial. "You are safe," he said. "Remember that courage and teamwork can overcome fear. That is what humans value. We fight not to dominate, but to protect and to survive." The audience erupted again, louder this time. Alien leaders whispered among themselves, impressed by the humans' performance. Even species who had doubted humans before now nodded with acknowledgement. After the trial, Ryan returned to the human quarters. His team surrounded him, cheering and congratulating him. "You did it," one exclaimed. "You changed how everyone sees us." Ryan smiled. "This was never about me. It was about showing what humans are capable of. Strength is not just in the body, it is in the mind, heart, and courage to protect others. That is how humans thrive." The human team nodded, understanding the significance of his words. Today had not only tested Ryan, but had shown the galaxy what humanity truly represented. Later, Zero visited the human quarters. Ryan stood as she entered, her golden eyes scanning the room. She nodded slightly, a rare gesture of respect. "You have proven that humans are not just capable of fighting, they are capable of inspiring trust and honor," she said. "You have changed my view of your species. You have earned the respect of the Valari Dominion." Ryan bowed slightly. "Thank you, Commander. That is all humanity has ever wanted, to be seen for who we are." Zira studied him for a moment longer. Then she extended her hand. Ryan shook it firmly, feeling the strength and respect in the gesture. "The galaxy will remember today," she said. "Not because of strength alone, but because of heart and mind." In the following days, humans were recognized across the Council and by the alien species of the galaxy. Reports spread of Ryan Hale's courage, intelligence, and leadership. Humans were no longer dismissed as weak newcomers. They were seen as capable, honorable, and worthy of respect. Ryan continued to work with Zira and the Council, building alliances and fostering understanding between humans and other species. Every decision, every action, reinforced the idea that humans could thrive not by domination, but by courage, wisdom, and compassion. As he looked out at the stars from the Council Tower, Ryan felt a sense of pride and responsibility. Humanity had taken its first real step into the galaxy, earning recognition and respect. The trials had been dangerous, but they had shown the galaxy what humans could do when courage met intelligence and honor. Zero approached him one last time. "Human," she said softly, "you have done more than survive. You have made the galaxy listen. That is a power no weapon can match." Ryan smiled. "Then we will continue to show them the best of humanity in every action, every decision, every challenge." The galaxy had changed in one short trial. Humans were no longer seen as weak or inexperienced. They had earned respect not by force alone, but by courage, intelligence, leadership, and honor. Ryan looked up at the stars, imagining the future. The galaxy was vast and full of challenges, but he knew humanity could face them. They had proven themselves in the trial of valor, and now the universe would listen. Commander Zero watched him for a moment, a faint smile on her face. "Perhaps humans will teach the galaxy something new," she whispered. Ryan turned to her and nodded. "And perhaps together, we can make it a better place." The arena, once a place of fear and challenge, now felt like a place of triumph. Humanity had stepped onto the galactic stage, and the world was finally ready to see them as they truly were. The trial of valor had ended, but the story of humanity's courage, intelligence, and honor had only just begun. Ryan Hale had not just survived, he had made the galaxy listen, and it would never forget the day a human stood proud in the center of the arena and proved that humans were a force to be respected,